As famed dungeon master W.B. Yeats once said, tread softly, for you have all failed your stealth checks. Hey! Welcome to the first 2021 Homebrew stream. If you are binging the podcast, you're like, I don't care. I don't care what your real lives contain. I don't care when you do this thing. Just get to the action. Welcome to Homebrew, the show where we avoid the crushing dullness of everyday life using our two favorite forms of escapism, alcohol and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay.
If this is your first time watching the show, what we do is we play a homebrew game of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Essentially, it means we collaboratively tell a story using dice to decide what happens and what doesn't happen. And I sort of paint the scene, and these little chuckle fucks in front of me fill the scene full of amazing things. That's D&D in a nutshell. If you've never drank beer before, recommend it. It's great. Gives you a sweet buzz. And we use those beers to kind of inspire the world and to kind of inform the action. You'll pick it up pretty quick. Speaking of beers, what are we drinking? Wes, how are you? I've done that thing where I've been like,
great.
Hey, can you get me that file on my desk? Actually, sorry. Good morning.
What is happening?
You don't have that in your office where someone's just straight in with the business and they don't have to go like, oh, sorry. Hello.
Oh yeah. I don't like that. It's up there with Happy Friday. It's on my pet peeves. I'm very well, thank you for asking. I am also enjoying a delicious bottle of Hollows and Fentiman's ginger beer. I just felt like being fancy. I also have some Smithwick's blonde ale in the fridge, chilling. But we're starting with the ginger. And I remembered to get my tavern mug this week. So, yay. That's what I'm drinking.
Mine is somewhere here.
Every time we sit down to stream, I forget it. And then I see Ben take a sip from his mug. And I'm like, I bet it tastes better than my beer just because it looks like he's in medieval land.
Backed by medieval cobblestones. The lilacs and things.
Everything in Middle-earth is to a soft gradient. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lucy, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I am drinking not a beer, Copperberg, but it's not Copperberg, not a cider, it's gin. I'm having some more of that Copperberg mixed fruit gin. And I have some beers here, but they might be useful later on, depending on which direction we go. So, I'm going to hold those back. Who knows?
In a different situation, that'd be cause for concern. If someone's like, I'm not going to drink these beers because they'll be useful later. Like,
yeah, that's a bit
if
weird.
Things get tough.
Yeah, they're quite heavy. They could be used as weapons. Any home invasions occurring during the stream, they are going to get pelted successfully.
Can to the face.
Yeah.
Back to you in the studio.
You tie them to a rope and then kick them on the stairs like Home Alone style.
Yeah.
Six pack coming down.
Very effective. Yeah. Okay.
We'll do the wet bandits after that.
Someone make this movie. I want this movie.
Or
Cullen Culkin's doing nothing. He's got to be free for doing this.
the Pale Ale Bandits.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
Now I can't do my bit. We're off script. Anyway, how are things, Gil?
Oh, yeah, good. Facing a different direction this time round. Thought I'd try, orient myself. Oh, crap. Why did I start the sentence when I don't know the orientation or the aspect of my house? Let's say south. It's not south.
For anyone watching, sorry, podcast listeners, but for anyone watching, this is an angle of the room we usually stream in live when we're able to be together in collective times. But they've never seen this exact direction because our table usually sits where you are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sat right in the center of where the table would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Facing where our technomancer Paul would be sitting, essentially.
Are there like
That's
a load of like burned in shadows, like there's been a nuclear explosion? There's like a Paul-shaped outline on the wall, and then an Angus in the corner, and then a can on the other corner.
There's a Paul-shaped outline, but that's because I've killed Paul.
No, we need him. He's running things.
I don't think he was doing very much.
He's now a ghost in the machine, so we're good.
He uploaded his consciousness to his own hardware.
For the greater good. I'm drinking a Yellow Belly Castaway. And one thing we want to bring forward in the show, what are we, 36 episodes in? How did we not think of this sooner? Is that it's episode 36. Now, we're more than 36 episodes doing this because we had one-shots and little isolation shows and Paddy's Day specials, all that kind of stuff. But free reign for the players and me as the DM to count any alcohol or any drink we bring to the table as like in our inventory, in our imagination. If it's there in front of you and you can use it in a way that affects the game. So for example, I'm drinking Yellow Belly, and say I was a spellcaster, I might go, well, using this Yellow Belly, I cast Cowardice on this creature to instill fear. And it doesn't have to be a real spell. It doesn't even have to be in any of the books. It's here. This is just as rules is written as anything that those fat cats in Wizards of the Coast have done. So from going forward, we might just use that. We will probably forget to mention to you listeners, especially podcast listeners, that we are doing that. So like, we just hear something and it sounds like it doesn't make sense because it's not D&D. Assume we're drinking something.
It just sounds like someone's breaking the rules but putting an inflection on a certain word. It's like, I choose to kill him with my mind. Okay, I allow
it. The beer I'm holding off screen is called Natural 20. Yes.
There was a beer called plus 2d6. Sorry, I found someone sent us a beer, maybe to me or maybe to our social channels at Homebrew Quest, called plus 2d6, and that's what I was just like, we should just be doing with this, but all the booze should be. So if someone brought it, they can add plus 2d6 to any roll that they did.
Oh.
Sorry, Keelan, I cut you off.
No, I can't remember what I was saying, but I said it anyway while you were talking, because cross chat's really important. So it's done. It's there. It's there for posterity. I don't know what it was, but I was just saying we should have D20 beers. I would just drink that all the time if I can find that. Someone's
natural 20.
Someone's got to have made a natural 20 somewhere.
Yeah. I think if my, so playing that out, you'd be like, I'm going to use this natural 20. I'm like, great, on your percentile dice.
That's good.
That's how we get rid of that one. Thanks, but it was with disadvantage.
Like when we started the show, Ben very much said he was going for an adversarial older brother DM. I feel like you've accidentally landed in the shitty younger brother that knows more than you instead. Like
I'm playing a gnome called Gnome Chomsky. Yeah, so new year, new beers, new show rules. It's all ahead of us. We'll look back at this 500 episodes from now, and people will be saying, "Start episode 36."
Yeah, they finally figure out the whole using
faster.
the beers thing.
Yeah. Couple more announcements before we get into using the beers. Lucy, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but you know all about it. What should people do?
You've given it some great FaceTime there, but we are a podcast. If you are disturbed by watching this video sequence in front of your eyes and you must close them and you can't deal with the way that we look, we're a podcast. Everywhere that you get podcasts, search Homebrew Quest. We're up to like episode 17 or something now. So it's going much slower. We release it every second week on our off week. And you can just consume it in easy audio format. Enjoy.
And if you like visuals on top of your audio.
It's not your week. Well, it's not your week, Leslie.
They're already here.
And I'll be transcribing it into a book. That's not true.
Right. Well, let's, before we jump in, Paul is alive. I've been hearing it in my ear. He is alive and well. There is, do not play this show backwards. You will not find that Paul is dead. No rumors can start here. Paul's alive and well, and I want to thank Paul. Paul is our technomancer behind the stream. Literally none of...
Oh, God, he is dead. Oh, he's very dead. Look how dead he is.
No, that's just what techies look like.
That's actually the best Paul's looked in a long time.
He does look great. Look at his skin.
Well rested over Christmas.
It's hard to get that shade of white, you know?
He will cut off our mics. He will destroy us. He's the most powerful thing about this show. But we are eternally grateful to him. He is our eldritch horror, and we are his humble servants. So thank you, Paul, and thank you for running the show and making sure we look and sound incredible. So no show without Paul, no good sounding show without Paul, no podcast without Paul, really. So now, without further ado, let's kick this off. Grab yourself a drink if you don't already have one. Pull up a chair if you've been standing. As we dive into a world where anything is possible, but not always probable. Welcome back to the realm of Hibernia. And Arlington, if you wouldn't mind, what were we doing when we last left off?
Dear Papa Tyke, the world is ending in a month's time.
We set off in search of the treasures of the Tuatha De Danann, which will aid us against Rua, an evil archfey who plans on merging the planes together. We used a teleportation circle to get from Dreid to the dwarven city of Sliabh. We appeared in a dark room deep underground, blocked by a large door covered in chains, which I bravely attempted to break down, but it turned out it was actually a giant spider. It wrapped its nasty, rusty legs around me. Fortunately, don't worry, I'm still alive. My good friend Huck, who I'm pretty sure is a god of some sort, just whisked it away and it stopped existing. We carried on, rode a mine cart through some rails underground, so that's one off the bucket list, you know. We met a lovely dwarf called Earl of the Greys, who directed us around town and pointed us to a lovely map shop called Way Over Yonder. A lovely gentleman there called Heaney put in an order for us to. We're trying to source some maps of the plains, you know, to figure out this ruse. Little joke for you there, Papa. When we came back and found Huck, he was chatting to you in a tavern. Anyway, everyone's sort of getting impatient, so I should wrap this up and talk to you soon. And then I hand the letter to Tyke.
Why? That's like live streaming it.
Should I read this now or save it for?
Well, everyone sort of seems to be waiting on bated breath, so maybe read it later on in your own time.
He writes his letters while speaking out loud, so you definitely heard all of it. I
didn't. Was I speaking out loud? I had no idea.
He doesn't know how to close his mouth when he reads as well. He's
To think of it, like this page is entirely blank. Arlington, do you think you're transcribing?
I was holding my finger against the paper like Rian told me to. How many of my letters have you received, Papa Tig?
I thought you were sending me spell paper.
Just a blank envelope. A blank envelope is getting there. That's the magic of Unpost.
Good to know he's alive or dead or set up an advanced sending of paper to me. Who knows when I'll see him again.
That is mysterious.
My young boy, what earth are you doing here? And you know, Hook. And then there's, and you notice a Tig, he sort of does a double take and goes, oh, jeez. Oh no, it couldn't possibly be. It's such a striking resemblance, though.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know each other?
It is me from the statue in that village that we helped that time.
I
know me? Have you seen her statue? I'm very flattered.
Yes, we are Huck's punks. You might have heard tell of us, because you know.
Are you Arlington, Papa?
Yeah, well, this is my father, Papa Tyke. He raised me as a young boy. But how do you know Huck and Ignatius? Does everyone know each other? This is very strange.
Your dad is in the Fianna.
I'm positive I mentioned that.
I think if all of the times I mentioned the Fianna, I would have noticed.
I'm positive. No, I'm positive I mentioned it. All these things.
Fianna
basically started me off in the Fianna. He's like my Fianna da.
Fianna da, yeah. But I'm Fianna adjacent. Like I wouldn't be considered Fianna. Like I don't have the cloak or the Ockermonths, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
That's Elvish.
Not the Fianna when I met you.
No. When you met me, Huck, well, do you know when you met me, I was helping the Fianna out because I'm from the same, like just up the road, Baglin, around where the headquarters are there. But I don't really. I keep my distance. They keep their distance, and we double.
Aye. Well, then he's just he's not my Fianna da. He's just someone he's a half da somehow.
That's a shame. We're almost Fianna half brothers, but that's how things go. Papa Tig, I'm hoping you can help us. I mean, it's wonderful to see you and all, but the world is ending in a month. Do you know anything of the treasures of the Tuatha De Danann?
Well, I do know about them. Which one? And so the world's. Sorry, I feel like before I answer that, the world is ending.
Oh yes,
we'll take all three, please. Thank you.
The world's it's on its way out.
But not if we have anything to say about it.
And I puff my chest up a little bit.
You didn't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You know, that's what they're saying.
Well, we've encountered an archfey called Rua who's set on merging the planes, some planes of resistance together, which is probably bad news for those planes, or at least our one. And we're trying to thwart her. Sort of a heroic adventure thing, you know.
Arlington, you know, that story's been going around since I was about when your age when we met. Rua, she's a harmless archfey. She's been talking about that plan she's never actually going to do it. She doesn't have
Really?
the ability or well, no, like you'd have to have some sort of spell component or the size of the world or some kind of focus. She'd have to have something in place there's protections in place that would protect the worlds and the realms and the cosmos from collapsing in on itself. Arlington, they're worse than some of the stories I'd be telling you to keep you out of trouble when you were a kid.
Well, she did seem awfully confident about it. Inky, do you remember if she had any foci or anything?
This is the best news I've heard in so long. I'm much happier just knowing she's unhinged and overly ambitious. It's all
hold
probably
on.
fine now.
You've actually met
quest. End of quest.
No, well, that's the thing. She sort of explained this plan to us in person. We were in the Feywild.
You've actually met her, like.
Oh yeah, she looks a bit like her.
Since we're this is a parental themed meeting. She's my mother.
Huh. Well then,
I should have led with that. I'm so sorry.
You see his face just kind of drain a colour and go, "This son of a bitch might actually do it."
No. People lie to their children, so she probably was lying to me, right? That's I think you're right. She won't do it, guys. It's fine. We can.
This is great news. I didn't like that whole quest anyway. Let's just drink.
I knew she was a good person.
At the sound of drink, a couple of drinks do land at the table. You haven't ordered. they're just there. And Jack goes, "No, we didn't order them." And you see across the room, there's a bunch of adventurers. They look a little bit kind of greenhorn, and they go, "Well, no, actually, it was the lads down up there who sent it across. You seemed like you had your shit together, and they were just kind of, well, they're trying out, adventurous guild stuff. So it's on them. About to say it's on the house, but no, they literally paid me. So you're good."
See who he's talking about?
Yeah. You look across, and there seems to be a huddle of 3 dwarves, and big bushy beards. A little bit less kind of braided and put together than your average dwarf. They look like if someone was trying to appear like an adventurer. So like the way kids sometimes get a little bit like, oh, I'm gonna wear like ripped jeans and a baggy shirt and like a chain. They're that, but in adventuring clothes. So it's like the cloak is a little bit too big. The axe one of them's carrying is like
actual teenage Ben. I feel like I've seen you as a teenager with that cape.
Yeah, they look like me when I was a young chap running around Greystones wearing capes.
Yeah.
LARPing before I knew what LARPing was.
Yeah, around some ruins. Yeah, I can
There
picture
are others.
You're a great DM. I'm really there. I can really picture this.
Carrying a plastic lightsaber, hooked at all times to his belt. No, but the impression is that like they look store-bought. They look like a cyclist who has all the gear but not the experience.
I pick up my beer and I was like, "Excuse me, I'll be back in just 1 moment." I'm going to walk over to those dwarves and introduce myself. "Hello, I'm so sorry for being presumptuous, but I'm sort of trying to. I'm looking for 3 dwarves in this area, and there are 3 of you. And forgive me if this is in any way racist. I certainly don't want to come across that way. But by any chance, are you or do you know of a dwarf called Twisted Knots?"
Twisted knot, is it? Yeah, man.
Twisted Knot. I'm looking for Twisted Nuts, and hibiscus.
You're looking for the Twisted family, man. Yeah, we happen to know where the Twisted family is, man.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Well, Twisted Knot lives up in the upper district. There's a big fancy mansion. Twisted Knot. Hold on, and one of them interrupts. Hold on, is this a quest? Because we take money up front.
No. I'm just looking to learn more about dwarven culture. I'm a writer, you see, not an adventurer at all. I know I'm quite large and intimidating.
on, he's not an adventurer. Here, bartender, take those drinks back.
But my friends are. You see, I'm documenting their adventures.
One of those drinks back. This lad's not an adventurer.
I put my beer on the table.
Twisted Knot is up in the mansion. Twisted Nut in the mines. And hibiscus can be found in the fighting quarries.
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 Quarries. Okay.
It's a quarry where they fight. I mean, it's not that hard to get your head around them.
This is why I'm here. I'm learning so much about your culture. Listen, I won't take up any more of your time. You've been most helpful. Thank you so much.
And if you're talking to anyone from the newly established Adventuring Guild, can you tell them that the three of us, we are known as the Lost Armada, have helped you out on a quest because we need to fill our punch card before we can be sent out in the real world.
Very good. Of course, I'll give you a glowing review with the Adventurers Guild.
The Lost Armada.
The Lost Armada, absolutely. I will let them know. Thank you so much for your help. You've been very helpful and adventurous, of course.
Is this? And you see them kind of slightly glowing. Is this what leveling up feels like? Ooh!
You do all look slightly more powerful. I'll
slightly more competent.
Yes, well, I simply must get back to my friends. Thank you so much for your help.
And I walk back over to the table.
Have a good one.
I got a lead on some dwarves. I'm so sorry. Papa Ty, you were...
You don't like that. You shouldn't be putting leads on them.
Well...
Famously against being leashed. The dwarven people. Sorry.
I just fell off my wall. Okay, sorry.
Your set's falling apart.
Yeah.
Papa Ty, what were you saying? You said the son of a bitch might do it. What do you know?
Do you know if you've actually met her? Like, I think I've never actually met her. I thought it was kind of a bit more of a folk tale, you know, something to keep the kids off the streets and keep them from wandering too far. But if there actually is an archfey called Rua, and like you said, sorry, your name was said, but I wasn't listening because the whole
I'm Ignatius O'Flat. You can call me Iggy.
Well, Iggy, if it's your ma, is it? And
yes, and only recently aware of this fact, and she did seem quite terrifying, if I'm honest, and all powerful.
Yeah. Well, an archfey would be, So it seems like you're looking for the treasures of the Tuatha De Danann. Also, know a little bit about them, but like, bit of myth, I wouldn't have thought they'd actually be. Well, if she's real, then they must be real.
Can I ask a wee question there, Tig? I noticed when you saw Iggy the first time, you thought you recognized her, but now you say you've never seen Rua. Is there a third one that looks like her as well?
Well, no, it's just that. How can I put this? If someone had described something from like a childhood or like a story, or like if you'd seen like, if you saw a salmon that just had a bit of a monocle and a mustache and seemed like a very wise man, you'd kind of double the glance at it. You'd go, that can't be. That's stuff of fairy tales.
Stephen Fry. Yes, no, I've gotten that before.
I mean, if I saw a fish with a monocle, I'd definitely give it a double glance. No doubt about it.
So you don't like see her face in pools of water or anything? No, that's just me neither. It's fine.
Iggy sounds so unhinged to new people. If you don't have all the context, she sounds fucking mental.
Well, it seems like it's very dire, the situation you're in. But Arlington, I will help you any way I can. It's like the adventurer's code I taught you when you were a kid. Remember the code, Arlington?
Yes. Leave nothing but your footprints.
No adventure is complete without their
consent.
Consent, yeah. Never ignore a call for help, so I'm not going to ignore your call for help and judge a monster not by their actions, but by their
words.
By their words, right?
Yes.
And dialects, codes based on variations, yeah. It's all the same. Fighting should be a last resort. Most everything can be settled with a cup of tea. That's the most important one. So do you think Rua likes tea?
We didn't ask last time we saw her. She was a tree. She might not be fond of it.
Fairly incorporeal. Yes, and that is one of the harder diets to anticipate. Don't know if she would like tea. She did,
and interesting enough,
really want to murder everyone. Sorry?
She wanted to murder. Well,
I don't think she was too set on murdering. It's just her plan to merge the realms would result in murder, which didn't seem to bother her. I think that was it. She didn't really seem to have it out for the material plane denizens.
She just didn't care if everyone died. That's all.
Yeah, which is sort of murder, adjacent.
Manslaughter, in a more literal sense.
and
slaughter, and elf slaughter, and dwarf slaughter.
Folk slaughter.
Folk slaughter, the old folk slaughter.
What a charming term for a horrible concept.
Also sounds like a metal band. Yeah, or metal fusion band.
Can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Ben is already mentally writing the next campaign, which is all bards in a group called Folk Slaughter.
Folk Slaughter, that's so good.
Well, I have to say I'm a little bit relieved in a way, not because of the world ending thing. That actually has me fucking terrified, to be honest. But I came here, Arlington, looking for you because there was rumor of your old gang, the rowdy ruffians, the rascals. Arlington, please, your language.
I'm so sorry, but that's what they're called, Papa Tig. Are they here?
What are they called?
The Dirty Bitch Boys. They're a terrifying band of were-tigers and goblins and hobgoblins and hob-were-tigers and I think I can't. It's been a while since I've seen them, but they're very scary.
Hobgoblins are the ones that are a bit more knobbly than the other goblins, aren't they? They're just
no, those are knob goblins. They're not quite so scary. But on the one hand, they're a terrifying band of ne'er-do-wells, and I don't think they'll be very happy to see me.
Well, you don't have to go say hello just because you're in town.
But I'm more afraid of them stumbling across us. I mean, I stand out quite a bit, Papa Tig.
Oh, no. Arlington, look. What I mean, is that they're here robbing wagons outside the city. So I thought you might have been back with them robbing wagons outside the city. But it's actually a bit of relief that you're not. And you're part of Hook's Punks, is it?
Yes, a small-time adventuring party. We've done some in the world.
Good on yourself, lad. Adventuring party. Now, isn't that better than bandit party?
Oh, my goodness, yes, absolutely. I've left that life very far behind, Papa.
You were in a bandit squad?
Well, I'm positive I mentioned this.
Did you mention any of this?
I didn't mention this. I'm so sure.
Walked around being like, ho. Well, let's go on. Ho.
Arlington
seems like it's so good.
You're absolutely right.
Impression of someone within a voice that I can't do in the first place.
Right, it's an impression on an impression with a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been rolling with those boys in quite some time, Papa. I have no interest in going back to that life. I'm helping people now, and quite good at it when it works out, sort of a little bit, not all the time.
He's done so much. Sure, we saved a lot of people. We have a statue. There's a statue.
There's a statue. Yes.
I can't even remember if he's all covered in bandana and hood, but he's there.
Yes, in hindsight, I probably look like quite a shady individual. I'm fairly certain I was covered up. But you'll have to trust me. It's me. I could just say that about any statue, couldn't I?
Any statue of a robed, hooded figure.
Well, depending on the size, I mean, he's pretty tall, so if it's a tall...
Well, they can build statues of any size, Papa. I've seen quite small and quite large statues. Some of them fit in your pocket. And they're of quite large figures. It's fascinating. I've learned a lot about the world. I'm quite well travelled now.
Well, it should say his name anyway. And it certainly says Hux Punks. I can't even remember if we even saw it, but they were building it.
we just trusted them that they were going to finish it.
It was built.
No, it was there. It was built.
Yeah,
they just hadn't described the name.
My memory of that time's not great.
I remember it every chance I get.
Every spare bit of time she just spends remembering.
Yeah.
That statue.
Well, well, Pawatai, you said you knew about the treasures of the Tuatha De Danann. If you believe us that Rua is real, do you have any leads that could send us to one of them? We're looking to collect as many as we can to help save the plains.
And do you have any at the moment? Like,
I can't remember. Do we?
Actually, remember?
Yeah.
Do we have?
No, you have a. Oh wait, no. Is Rian the only one who?
I can't remember. I think Rian's sword was a treasure.
Rian Sword's one. Isn't your shield the other half of Rian Sword's hero for the same god?
I couldn't remember if they were both treasures.
neither of them. I can cut to the chase.
That would save time.
Ray's sword is a god forged sword and would have similar properties to one of the 4 treasures of the Tuatha De Danann, but is not of that set of 4.
Okay.
And to give a quick recap for the audience, the players don't need it. They don't need to look that up. You have Law, which is a rock that proclaims the High King of Hibernia.
Yes, I literally just found that in my notes. Damn it!
You've Cleave Sullus, which is a sword of light. You have seen that, but you are not currently in possession of it. You've seen that Lanfalon wields that blade, so he's found one. You've Dagda's Call. You don't know anything about that one. And the last one is Lou's Spear.
Yeah.
And you don't know. I don't think. Arlington, make a history check.
Ooh. First roll of 2021. Ooh, it's decent. Where's history? It's not going to be good. 17.
When you were in the astral plane, you met Lou. And he definitely... What you remember with the 17 is that Lou said that his spear has the ability to sort of morph and change into whatever the user wants it to be or needs it to be. It's like a tool. So it could be a spear, it could be a sword, it could be almost anything. So that when looking for it, you mightn't necessarily be looking for a spear.
Okay. Did he mention there's any way to tell what it is if it's in a different form? Any like characteristics that would separate it from other swords or whatever?
It never misses.
Okay. Kind of want that.
It says Lou Wazir on it.
Yeah. There's notches along the side for all the times it never misses.
I mean, as much as I miss having Rian in the party, I feel like it will be hard to give up the weapon that never misses if we have to do that. So it's probably for the best he's not here for that part.
Can I have that? It could be a tiny dagger that never misses. Mechanically speaking, in D&D, we will figure that out when we cross that bridge, if we cross that bridge. That's a problem for future Ben. He'll figure out a mechanic of it never missing. Probably roll with advantage. That's probably if you come across it. Ty goes, well, it sounds like you've a bit of, and you for brevity, you fill him in on anything that has been discussed there in conversation. We don't need to roleplay that bit. We don't need to roleplay exposition. But it sounds like you've a good lead, but you do only have a month, like. So why are you here?
Well, we had a lead, and I sort of wanted to find you. I figured, who's the most magical man that knows lots of things about magical things. You get what I'm trying to say.
You should have been looking for Merc from Home. Merc from Home is the most magical man who knows things about magic. I'm the second most. Merc from Home.
Aww.
You remember Merc from Home? It's a beer called Merc from Home.
Yeah, I got it. I was kind of like, let's leave that hanging for the poor podcast listeners.
Yeah.
It's literally. I'll call it close if you can see it. It's just called Merc from Home.
Yeah, we got it.
It was fucking great. and it helped me with that joke. Merc from Home, he's the most magical man who can things by magical means. Do you need me to find Merc from Home?
Do you happen to know anyone in the Clockwork Tangerine by any chance?
Let's find out.
That was one of the reasons we came here is that Rua is sort of, when she's merging and smashing these two worlds together, we think that she's sort of said, I think, that she's using the roadmap from the Clockwork Tangerine to do so, and so we're hoping maybe we could get that map.
Clockwork Tangerine does ring a bell. I've been here for about a week or so. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you knew I was here, Arlington. That seems weird. But the Clockwork Tangerine, that's the Twisted family. They're and we're in the street.
Aye, that's them.
Well, actually, we didn't. We came here because it got us closer to Bear Glen, and we were planning on finding you later on. Finding you this early was a coincidence. We actually came here looking for the Twisted family. And I got a bit. I unearthed a lead while talking to those lovely
Oh.
adventuring dwarves over there.
Oh, really? They don't look very helpful, I'll be honest. And I like to judge people from afar.
Well,
Aye, they look lost, if anything.
you're very good at it as well, Ignatius. They assured me that Twisted Knot was in the upper district, Twisted Nut was in the mines, and Hibiscus was in the fighting quarries. I'm
Oh, that's very helpful.
concerned about the fighting quarries, but also weirdly curious.
Were they in the fighting quarries, or were they fighting their quarries?
It was very hard to tell. They had quite thick accents.
Because people fight quarries. That's what you do.
Hmm. Do we know which of those twisted people is more important? Or I actually don't remember finding out those names.
I think he was given all three names. I don't think one was given more importance over the other.
Okay. No, that's why I was wondering if it was like.
Oh, wait. Well, if it helps, Hibiscus has 2 kids.
Wait, when did we get these names?
It's the one time I took notes that were more than like bullet points.
Oh yeah, my notes are bullet points, but I have their names. There's Ginger, which is the same as Ruby, which is the same as Hog.
Yeah. We were told by, I think, Abby de Vauclair was when we were like planning where we were going to go.
Okay, yeah. I feel like I usually take good notes, but I cannot find where that is. So.
Amazing. Took the best notes for once.
Yeah, Hibiscus Junior,
Or Ruby or Hob. Wait.
Yeah, I just mentioned a lot of names for kids. I don't even remember that. That's great.
I have taken the best notes, including Ben.
I don't even remember giving them names for kids, but I do remember these. And lo and behold, Tig does know which one's more important.
We're zeroing in on what we believe to be vitally critical information that you just offhandedly written. You've graduated as a DM, Ben.
I'm getting distracted looking for it, but yeah.
When your afterthoughts are so interesting that the party focuses in on them with laser accuracy, that's a good thing.
Kids might come in handy. You never know who you need to pull out of holding a bear or bunny. Or...
we could kidnap their children and use them as.
Wow, this escalated very quickly indeed. Were you here for all the heroic adventuring talk before?
How do you know what dwarf children look like? Because they're all pretty
very muscular, regular children.
Ooh.
They all have beards.
They all have beards. They all look like that sort of those muscle men in the long johns with the fighting stat. That's what they all look like when they're born.
No, why would I know what that looks like?
In classic Hibernian tavern style, there are a couple of kids roped in by the family who own Tip Tango's Tango Emporium who are working and serving and making sure that the pool table is stocked full of pool.
The pool table needs more pool balls.
More pool balls for the pool table.
The pool table's like the one thing in the pub that doesn't get destocked, right?
And the kids
they're skiving. They're telling people, "Oh, we're doing it. I'm on pool table."
They're making up jobs that never need to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's actually no way for the balls to get from the holes back out, so we have to do it. Yeah, we got to
stand there, and we put them back on the table after you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we need to decide what we're doing here because, as we've alluded to several times now, time is short. Do we pursue the Twisted family, or Papa Tig? Do you recommend we research? Did you land on an answer about the treasures? Do you know of any leads we could follow up?
Any on you?
That would also be great. If you had one on you, that would save us a lot of time.
He's kind of in the time that this has happened. He's just eating dinner, and he goes, "Oh, do you need to?" Sorry, it's just you started talking amongst yourselves so much that I kind of ordered food. Just came back. Do you need me for it?
When did it get so late? We've been here for hours. This tends to happen, Papa Tig. I'm so sorry. You've been here trying to help us, and we started talking about pools, and I'm doing it again.
Pools.
So let me get this straight. You need to find the Twisted family. I think that's pretty important, especially if you said, Iggy, that Rue is using sort of the roads of the Clockwork Tangerine. That's probably, to be honest, like that's probably the focus she needs.
Yeah, it sounds like sort of like the blueprints to her destruction. So I think that would probably be good to have.
Well, if you find that, you might be able to find where the whole thing's going down. If you need to find where she is to stop her, because I presume all the treasures in the world, if you're the other side of the world, aren't going to. She could be the other side of the world, just doing her spells, and you'd be there holding your Mickeys and your twisted spears, and going, "What do I do with this?" So the blueprints are probably pretty fucking important. Like,
Is my
I
Mickey
appreciate
one of
that.
the two of the Dannon?
it's one of the 4 treasures of the 2 of the Dannon. And then I suppose find the treasures. But like, if you could stop our plans before you even need to use the treasures, then isn't that better? I mean, if you could stop without fighting and instead have maybe a cup of tea.
If she'd be happy to play a game of Jackson. But to be honest, she's not up for doing much playing or talking or having tea.
Oh.
I tried, and I'm quite good at it.
He is
now that I think about it, we've sort of been tasked with finding the treasures of the 2 of the Dannon by associates of ours, and it seems to be sort of their plan we've agreed to help with. I don't really want to welch on that sort of agreement we had, but do you think maybe they have a reason for zeroing in on getting those treasures rather than, as you've suggested, Ty, just eliminating the map out of the equation?
Well, what are they? Who are they? Sorry, these associates. So your plan is that they went somewhere to do something, and you went here to get the maps and the. Is there any chance, Arlington? And I don't mean to embarrass you in front of your friends. Is there any chance they went looking for the treasures, and you were to look for the maps?
There is a very small, teeny tiny chance that exactly what has happened.
And then
but I mean, if we got the treasures as well, it couldn't hurt.
We are meant to meet up with them and help look for the treasures. This is a stop off on the way. I've been keeping quiet, but that was the whole plan.
Well, why did you leave me to ramble on with the wrong plan, Hawk?
I can't believe I'm the only one who knows the plan.
I should clarify, Papa Tag. This is far and away the most I've been allowed talk uninterrupted. I don't normally lead these situations. I'm sort of normally the one who just, I'm violent and I'm not much of a talker, and I've sort of run away with myself.
It's lovely to see you this way. Oh, he brings out the best in you, clearly.
Well, I do know one of the
father's not proud.
Not at all.
It's like
you got Spring. He's like, oh, he's a successful. Oh, he's not. He's a bumbling idiot.
Well, Arlington and associates, friends, I suppose. Would you call
Is it too late to rebrand Huck's Punks as Arlington and Associates? Do you think we could get jackets made?
That ship has well sailed and sank.
Quite
if
right.
you get Arlington's associates, I need to get something else. I need to get Iggy's, Inuits, something else.
Have a rolling rotor.
Okay.
The only name I'll give any credence to is reinforcements.
May I suggest that your name of your group is probably less important than the world, Dindon?
Oh, you might suggest that, but you'd be wrong.
Absolutely.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. If you don't have a name, what have you? I learned that from the Fae. You need a name.
Oh, Ignatius. And a thought crosses his mind. She's your mother. Do you know her name?
We've been on the hunt for her true name.
Have we?
Well, sort of keeping an eye out.
Oh, you think you mean her true name, like her true calling? It's Mummy. Like the name that maybe she identifies with most, gets the most joy from. Maybe.
If that's her name, you could use that to kind of sort of debilitate her, or at least catch her off guard. Because if you know a Fae's true name, then that holds power. You mightn't even need the treasures if you know her name.
I didn't know that. What? Is this something else that I didn't write down?
That's
someday finding out her true name because that was power.
It's not a thing they talk about. We talk about.
I'm very into her true name being Mummy. That's so good.
I will know
the original mother.
She really seemed quite impervious to guilt from the abandonment. So I doubt it is Mummy, but
oh yeah, she did not give a shit about abandoning her child.
Because her name might be Mummy wouldn't mean she'd be a good mother.
Yeah,
might mean she's in bandages all the time.
But that's true. I'll add that to the list of things that I want to know about her, which is most things. Okay.
He's got baggage. I'll add it to the
West?
long list of things I need to ask my birth mother.
Yeah.
Um,
So Rua, do you know where the name Rua comes from with her then?
well, it
Has
just
it
means.
always been that for you?
Do you speak Sylvan?
Is that No, that's not Elven though.
No,
you speak-
no,
you speak-
Sylvan. Like,
I don't.
I don't believe I do.
Someone definitely spoke Sylvan once.
Oh, then maybe I do. I do speak some languages.
you know, you don't have to roleplay. Like sheets in front of you give you some of the answers to. You don't have to yes and everything. Look to your sheet and.
No, I'm more just going
It's all
like.
good. Like.
To make up a
The
language.
sheets are full of confusing numbers, whereas just agreeing and plodding along.
I don't think any of us do speak Sylvan because I feel like it would have been very useful for a couple of situations.
I thought you got to pick a
No,
language.
I do speak Sylvan. I do.
Oh,
I did think.
wait,
I
how does that
did.
not
I
come
did
up
actually
before?
think I did.
Yeah.
Only because I remember it was useful before. I could.
It was useful. It was useful pre-recording when we were going.
Yeah, we found that too.
Oh,
Literally
is
the
that
episode before we
It was
started.
one of those classic D&D situations where it's like, oh, I never picked my second language. You know, it'd be useful for this and this.
No.
In this exact moment.
Having Sylvan, so we did that.
Oh, okay, so just cheating. Like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Because
No,
yeah,
well, now in fairness, well, like I'm thinking some session soon, my knowledge of the goblin language will come in pretty fucking handy.
yeah, you're
Well,
gonna
when you meet
chat
those
up
hobgoblins.
goblin. Whew.
And all
Yeah,
that
no,
halfling lore I've got.
Does Rua mean something in Sylvan? So, which I would know because I.
And just for. Yeah, the thought comes to you. Iggy, you're like, oh, you know when you hear something but you forget to, like when Orla was on the show and I was reading Law Vogue as Lamb Hog, forgetting that it was just in another language, that it's not just Lamb Hog, the cider, it's Law Vogue. So exactly like that, we're like, oh, it's a name, but it actually means, it has, of course it means that. And just as a point of order, Hook, you also speak Sylvan. When you transformed back from Halfling to Puka, you really learned it. It was that part of your brain. Yeah, you got it. Just in case you ever need it.
Yeah.
And
Michael's magic stuff was just water the whole time. Keelan.
So
You had
I
it
can
within
talk
you
to
all along.
Huck in Sylvan. I can talk to Huck in Sylvan when I don't want Arlington to hear. Just a
Yeah.
secret.
And I'll
But
be
is it kind of like a certain, like a dog whistle, like a pitch, like you can't hear a single word you're saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have no idea what you're talking about.
I
Yeah.
can't hear it.
The
That's
gestures
hilarious
aren't
on the
in
podcast, by
Sylvan.
the way.
that was actually the friendliest of gestures in Sylvan.
What does it mean in Sylvan, or what's the?
Oh, that's
Sounds
yes.
like the beginning of a sea shanty.
No, I saw. And he starts singing the song of Rua to you, and all the pub join in, and they go, "Hang on, this is a tango bar. Keep your shanties for the shanty shack down the road."
It's Rattling Bog or nothing round here.
The reason I paused was because I was like, Rua means red in Sylvan, but I was like, no, Jarek means red, but then also Rua means red. So I was like, hang on a second, I know Irish, which I'm using for Sylvan in this world as a loose approximation as such.
Actually, yeah. Why do we have two words for red?
I think we have a few words for red, but I think this is more red like, you know what, Ben? Stop now before you say something wrong. Because I could say nothing and be equally...
Save it for your guest spot on Motherfucklore.
Everyone knows that in Irish we have multiple words for different colours, but then we don't have a word for internet.
Italy.
And no word for snow.
Yeah.
I just started learning on Duolingo, so my Irish improv is gonna.
You know how
Good
to
jazz.
say
It's gonna be mainly about Capra,
drinks.
Agus
You know
Banya.
how to say bread and apple.
Yeah.
Having seen you in school attempt Irish, I
Once
don't.
the conversation turns to milk and car accidents.
I know.
You turn back to Tig and he's having dessert now, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, is it Tig story time again? Is that what we're?"
Has he gotten like his beard has gotten longer as well?
He's a skeleton. Oh, you will deliver.
Sorry. I was just remembering what Rua's name meant, which is
Red.
Yet,
On account of, I presume, if you have a spitting image of her, on account of your hair. given
oh
that it's-
yes.
but her name's Iggy. It doesn't mean red at all.
When we met her, it was a shade of her, so we weren't really the colors weren't quite right. It was sort of like a filter over them.
Red isn't exactly the friendliest of the colors, I'll be honest. So I'm me peace.
Well, if you could find out her true name, that might help you in your quest. And, like, I can help you in your quest, too. Like, if you tell me the time and place, if you find the time and place where it's all going down, like...
We'll absolutely take you up on that, Papa Tig. It would be most beneficial to have a wizard of your caliber in our corner.
Yeah, we don't know where we'll be at the time or where you'll be, so we better get that sorted.
Do you have a method of contacting you over a long distance by any chance?
Well, I presume whatever you've been using to get those letters to me, because they arrive. I don't know how you do it, but like they're...
yeah, that'll be on post.
It's a wonderful service. It really is.
It's whatever you've been using. I presume Arlington just leaves it in a river, holds it out, a hawk picks it up. Like, it just happens every time he needs to send a letter. Just nature calls. And
he just wills it. He just concentrates and just envisions what he wants. Write it, send it, wish it. That's the Arlington story.
Aye, grand. So we'll use that method, but we'll actually write something on the paper this time. Then you'll know.
It's a
little unorthodox, my young hobbit halfling friend, but we'll give it a try. Writing something on the paper is absolutely ridiculous. So we put a stamp on it as well.
I'm gonna give you a stroke on the arm,
whether hail, rain, or snow, all that.
He doesn't get your art. I'm gonna try to make you feel better. Yeah.
Okay.
You're a true artist in your letters. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It's nice to be appreciated.
I
suppose we should.
I drifted up there. Sorry, I'm an old man, and it's getting very late, and I just sort of had a sneaky snooze.
He might be an artist with his letters, but he's not a writer. Sorry.
I suppose we should track down this twisted family and try and get hold of this map. Then, are you staying in Sliabh for a while, Papa Tig?
Well, yeah, I was. I kind of rented out a place for a couple of weeks in the hope that I'd find yourself. And now that I know that you're safe and sound, then I see no problem then just helping you out. But if you don't mind, Arlington, like, I'm not going to be getting into any tussles, and consider me proudly supporting your adventuring ways and the code, but like from the side.
No, I wouldn't think to get you involved in any. I mean, no, not at all. Not at all.
A word of advice though: the whole city is like looking for the dirty, the rough, the friends of yours, and like keep it up.
We'll stay away from them. Don't worry.
So just in case they see every city we go to, you're like a wanted criminal.
Well, for different crimes, Ignatius, it's not always the same thing.
I know. This time it's different. He's a wanted criminal in other countries. This time he's wanted by criminals.
It is a difference. And to be honest, I don't see us crossing paths with them unless Tony Cantwell's available for a third episode. I don't really...
Gonna get Scraggs back in.
Patch him in.
Well, lo and behold, Paul, get Tony in here. He walks into the bar.
Let's just call him every episode until ring him up, put him on FaceTime.
Hey, what are you up to?
I'm basically just going to be relying on the fact that he's putting out so many podcasts at the moment that I can do whatever I want, and the Dirty Bitch Boys won't find us unless Ben does a really good Tony impression, in which case we're fucked.
Ben doesn't do a really good anything impression.
Well, solid bird, cruel.
That was so mean.
I mean,
and that's for me.
Have to be so brave and so true.
I don't do my own character.
All of these characters he's inventing, so they're not impressions, so it's okay.
That's true.
We don't know what he's doing an impression of. That's fine.
Well, it wasn't actually them finding you, Arlington. It's just that if the city guard are on the lookout for, and he leans in close.
Oh yes, of course. They do have my likeness. There's also that as well. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, like you look like a monster.
I do. Well, I understand.
Never judge a monster by their actions, but by the it's the code. You know what I mean. What I mean.
Very, very good. Do you know if they have if there are wanted posters or anything like that of my likeness, or is it sort of the bandanaed sort of?
Oh, well, I think it's the full lineup. And I suggest that if you're going to go after it, like get the wagon, like so you can fit them all in, because you wouldn't get back to the sheriffs and back with if you're going. It pays you the
do the law here have my image so that they would recognize me?
No. What I mean is that like they're on the lookout for anyone who's looking like they could be a bandit. And
Right, yes.
your complexion, you know.
Yes, I'm from training.
Like,
yes.
A dad who's just learning like new terms is trying his fucking best, but he's just
trying not to use offensive terminology.
So you need to find the Twisted family, and well, I did pick up some bits and bobs while I've been kind of sitting here, and rumor is it that they kind of had a huge falling out. So like, it seems to be that their new money, like this Clockwork Tangerine thing, you know, it's been good for them, but word is that Twisted Nut kind of did the dealing, and he's the one in the upper levels in the fancy mansions, and sort of did the others dirty, if you know what I mean. And well, you will find hibiscus in the fighting quarries, and tomorrow night actually there's a bit of a rock concert in the quarry, so like she'd be around there. I wouldn't be going myself for more into the metals, but like leave the dwarfs how they are.
There's a rock concert in the quarry.
Hey,
Fuck you, Ben.
Is Folk Slaughter headlining?
Stone Roses actually.
So our quarry is in the quarry at a rock concert.
Do
Sorry,
you
I get
reckon,
it now. Yeah.
and I'm saying this to like to Huck and Arlington, but do you think? I mean, should we just try and just there must be this headquarters of Clockwork Tangerine. Maybe if they're kind of busy with their personal squabbles, we could just break into the headquarters and find this map. It's probably there.
Or perhaps we could turn them against each other. Perhaps if we told one that the other was trying to get the map, and I don't know, use it to our advantage. Get one of them on our side.
Okay,
Manipulate.
Yes.
I can't even remember. Did they all have pieces of the map, or is that something we were thinking of, or because that lad in the mansion, if he did the actual deal, he's the most likely to know anything, although probably the most difficult.
But I think if we could maybe get Hibiscus, get him to turn on him, he could give us that in.
Do you know, it won't be hard for them to turn on each other because they had the big falling out. Like you'd only be adding.
That's what I think. If we just try to make one of them think we're on their side, and sort of, that could be a way to get around it. If they're already at each other's throats, this would be a advantage for us.
All right.
So there's
who shall we? So it's agreed that Twisted Knot in the upper district would be the hardest to get to, and perhaps Hibiscus might be the easiest in the fighting quarries.
Well, we might as well try him then, I guess. Does he have children that we can kidnap?
I believe Hibiscus has children we could do something with. Yes.
Isn't Hibiscus she?
If she has children, she might be a bit more concerned. We could be just honest and tell her about, the whole world colliding and how her children will be killed, as will she. So we're not actually, kidnapping her kids, but we are.
The implication.
The implication, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That doesn't sound very, adventurous code, Arlington. I don't want to. I mean,
what? Telling her the truth?
There's something I've learned on the road, Father, that sometimes to avoid violence you have to manipulate, and it's not pleasant, but it saves bloodshed.
Sometimes the best way to avoid violence is to chop off a couple of people's fingers and send them the non-plus.
The fingers thing is we can worry about that, but it's unlikely.
We've never done that.
Everybody wouldn't be that manipulative.
I think that moves from manipulation to full-on coercion.
That's the adventurer's code. That's why Arlington joined us. Sure, it's so similar to your code. It's just be friends and have a great time.
Okay, well,
that's kind of the opposite of my, like, two of the tenets of my code is fighting should be a last resort and judge a monster not by their words but by their actions.
Exactly, the friends thing. That's what I'm saying. We're all just friends. That's the main code of Hux Punks.
We'll try and resolve this in a non-violent fashion. I think we should at least do a bit of reconnaissance about Hibiscus in the fighting quarries. Thank you so much for your help, Papa Tig. Listen, before we leave town, presuming we're not chased out or anything like that, we should have a mug of tea or something and catch up. I believe I mean, you've been quite forthcoming with information, very helpful to us, and I think it would also behoove you. I've unearthed some information about why I am the way I am. The a crystal called Sliabh Fall seems to have had an effect. I feel like it could be interesting information for you. We should exchange notes.
That sounds like a good idea, and I'm thinking we should probably leave here because Jesus, it's after
We've been
midnight.
here for 11 hours. Yes, it's been quite a long time.
I mean, I'd suggest you're welcome to stay where I am.
I came in here, and let me tell you, and it's just
how do you enjoy the local ale? Actually, now, what do you think of it?
Yeah, no, it's great.
Make a deception check. Because it tastes like ash. You know it tastes like ash. Everything tastes like ash.
Everything we drink.
Everything tastes like ash. You know it tastes like ash. It drinks and tastes. Everything tastes like ash.
Fine.
I
Deception.
didn't get to sip any of mine, so I shan't roll.
I'm gonna say I succeeded because I have high. I rolled a 19, but I'll check my stats. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you succeed. Yeah, you're good. Oh, it's a little bit too strong for my liking, but it's good. Do you have a place to stay, or do you need? I was
gonna say you said you got a place, and you were sure you were looking for Arlington, so you might have thought to have an extra room if you found them.
So presumptuous.
Arlington always, sleeps on the ground because
we'll all sleep on the ground.
I like to curl up at the foot of the bed on the ground, just in case someone comes in the middle of the night. But I'm not allowed on the bed.
If you're all happy to sleep on the ground, then yeah, you can stay in mine.
You get very used to it.
Safe.
And Arlington, and as you start walking out of Tip Tango's Tango Emporium and towards his accommodation, which is a you notice now as you look into the city, and it started to rain. Or in a mountain. Yeah.
I was going to say we're very deep underground. Leak, I think, is the word.
I know what I said. I didn't stutter. It started to rain. And it's so high and big, and the heat of the city and the forges causes condensation, which, like the clouds inside an ecosystem, start to rain. Pull myself out of that hole.
Well, I was getting flashbacks of when you introduced us to Drake, the city that's always nighttime, and then it turned out we couldn't tell what time was when. It's visually lovely, but hell on your
there's big pillars and kind of stalactites and all this sort of stuff, and you realize that some of the pillars and in the outer walls of the city are these what you thought were kind of glittering gemstones are actually windows and kind of apartments. So Tig has sort of rented a high story condo place for himself.
I reckon he has the floor space then.
Overlooking Central Park.
Yeah, he has a studio place in the middle level. Which overlooks actually some local breweries and distilleries with the river running by it. It's quite nice. How he afforded it? Who fucking knows? He's a hermit. That's a plot hole for someone else's Wikipedia page. And he brings you there. And on the way there, he turns to Arlington and goes, I was trying to say earlier actually, but your friends kept interrupting, and that's fine. They have their the world's ending, so you forgive a lot. But actually, when I was looking. Before I found you, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's a bit of a confession, I was actually looking for Sliabh Fall, and then I came across you, and I kind of gave up my search for it. But
you didn't find me beside the rock?
But no, I found you. Well, you seemed so hurt at the time that I wasn't really into the surroundings. Was that? Holy Jesus, we were there. We know where it is, Arlington.
If it's still there, yes, I just assumed it was lost to time, but yes.
But what was it you were going to say?
When? What?
You said something, there's something changed about it. You had to... I've sort of put my heart
on
the table.
We can discuss it properly later on, but it turns out that my voice, my cadence, my personality, I suppose, is not the one that came with this body. When I'd get in my tempers as a young man, that was the real me, and the person speaking to you now, I believe, is at least a shadow of one of the High Kings of Hibernia.
Jesus, Arlington, you don't need to find Fall. You are Leopold. Not the sorry, that's confusing because Leopold is the stone, but I mean that like the power within the stone is in. Well, it's in you. Arlington, the High King of Hibernia isn't just a title. It's ordained by the gods themselves to keep the realm safe from the shadows, the wilds, the weird. You're on a path, my boy.
So I'm the High King of Hibernia?
Well, seems to be at least so it is, and I don't mean this. Look, don't take this the wrong way, but that was kind of what I was looking. I don't have any kind of high intentions. I just knew that part of it was keeping the realm safe, and if keeping the realm safe, I'm so sorry. I wanted to take this burden so you didn't have to carry it, my boy. But
oh. Well, I mean, so far so far all it's done is made me cross paths with you and got me to leave a dangerous gang. So far, only positives. Also, I met some gods. I'll catch you up properly. There's been a lot of strange things. This only makes them stranger. This is quite strange. Okay, well, you know what? This is good. No, this is good because my friends have all unearthed some very earth-shattering realizations that they're very important people, and I'll be honest, I was starting to feel a little bit left out. So, High King, yes, I could get used to that. I should get a crown. I think I should get a crown. Shouldn't I get a crown?
Look, Arlington, remember the Adventurer's Code.
Right, no crowns.
No crowns.
Yes, I remember.
No crowns. It's like it's rule 0. It's why we never say it when we list it.
No, you're right. It would look ridiculous. It would look absolutely ridiculous. You're right.
At that moment of time, you realize all of you, unless you go to bed soon, will take a point of exhaustion. You've been up for over a day.
Weren't we walking back to his house?
With that in mind, we're arriving to this to Ty's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
yeah,
so
you're good. It's just that wave of kind of.
What I was thinking was that as we were arriving and they're having that conversation, and I'm maybe just preparing some small things that would help in this, but I'm thinking like this is a night ahead where we're going to maybe really like plan what we're doing and really bond and get strategy, and in that spirit I'm going to cast House Party. and just like get the spirits up. We are gonna we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna get exhausted, but we will sleep eventually. But we're just gonna really bond with Tag. And
you
have a lovely house party from Dundalk.
I have a thing for this, and I know what it is, but we're at break time. So this isn't the biggest cliffhanger in the world, but come back after the break for the mechanic of which
happens at the house party.
It's a house party.
But I have an exact equal penalty reward for what you're doing, because essentially what you're saying is everyone stays up all night and has a fucking deadly time, therefore automatically giving everyone a point of exhaustion. But for such a negative, you need an equal boon. So I know what it is now. I'm not using the break to think of it. I know what it is. Gets on. But we will be back in about 15 minutes. Before we go, if you've been enjoying the show and you like playing tabletop role-playing games, and you're thinking, how do I level up my home experience? Well, let me tell you about a little friend of ours called Dakota Irish. Dakota Irish are a purveyor of all things fine tabletop accessories, but I'm not going to tell you about their handcrafted dice trays or vaults. I'm not even going to tell you about their amazing dice sets, because I am going to tell you about their whiskey plushie. Whiskey is the official mascot of Dakota Irish and dog champion of the workshop down in Carlow, Kilkenny? Kilkenny? Yeah, they're in Craig. Yeah, they're in Inishig and Craig Manor. Somewhere in there. I shouldn't tell them where. I don't know.
He's there between the hours of 9 and 6.
Dogs him.
His home address is. But go to DakotaIrish.com. Look for the whiskey plushie. It is an incredible plushie and like the softest, cuddliest thing in the world. Maybe if you're thinking I deserve some dice and trays and all that kind of stuff, but you know what? To get this, I'm gonna have to get my wee tyke something special. or to get this, I'm gonna have to get myself something special. Then get this. There's no. I mean, you can always use the code Homebrew10, but there's automatically a 10% discount on this if you pre-order. So you don't need to. You don't need to use ours. I don't even think it will work. So I don't think it gives you a 10%. Not on this. Not on. It works in everything else. Just on this. Anyway,
Making it up. There isn't even actually a Dakota Irish.
People pay me to stop and think before I do ads, not come up with them on the fly. But yeah, go to dakotairish.com. Check out the whiskey plushie. It's super fucking cute and cool. You can get them in 2 different sizes. It's adorable. And maybe while you're there, pick up some stuff for your gaming table at home.
Having met the real whiskey, I can say it's a pretty good likeness. It's a good dog. It's a good plushie.
It's spot on likeness, like dimples and freckles and all around the nose. I've never met the dog in real life, but I've seen the plushie. I've never met any of these players in real life either, but I've seen the plushie. So, enough stalling, enough dilly-dallying. We're going to go off to human things. We'll be back in 15 minutes. If you're a podcast listener, we're back in like 3 seconds. Hold your horses, probably. Or maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. See you then, and refill your drinks, tell your friends, all that kind of stuff. We'll do the other bits on the other side. Bye, folks, for now. Just for now. Not for like a long time.
We'll be back.
Bye forever.
Episode isn't over. Still another Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Homebrew, where we last left off. Look, post-break announcements, go follow the socials, yada yada yada. You know, hit the buttons, do the clicks,
Like
do
and
the
subscribe on
thumbs,
YouTube,
follow,
like
subscribe.
all previous videos. Dislike them if you don't like them or whatever. Write a comment. YouTube algorithm help.
All of that. Fool the robots so we can get straight into the action. Where we last left off, the party, Hux Punks, had made their way back to Tig McGuinness's condo apartment that he'd rented out for the week in Sliabh, the mountain city of dwarves. And immediately...
Airbnb really has taken over Hibernia, hasn't it?
Yeah, it
This is
really
like
is.
our third one that we've met.
It's because that sweet road money, that Clockwork Tangerine money is just putting it. And interesting enough, as you've walked through the city, you do notice there's an element of wealth about the place, that it does seem to be booming. Unlike, I mean, Drake was pretty, like, if you thought Drake was fancy, this place gaudy with gold. It is new money central. And as you make your way back, you get to the apartment. Tig realizes he's a couple of beers in the fridge. He realizes that you might be able to get a couple more beers and a couple of kegs going, and puts on some finger food for his son's friends, thinking it will be a quiet night. The neighbors here, they all come around, and a full-on Ranger House party kicks off in Tig's party. And what it does mean is that you all do the following day wake up hungover, you're exhausted, so everyone takes a point of exhaustion. I want everyone to roll a constitution check, but don't worry, the good news is coming. This is just the pain.
What does the -1 exhaustion mean again?
So -1 exhaustion.
Disadvantage to skill checks.
All ability checks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shit.
I think.
You're welcome, guys.
Is that a Constitution saving throw or just a regular check?
Sorry, yeah, Constitution saving throw.
Then I got 5 overall.
I got
Nice.
9.
Oh, I rolled
Cool.
real bad. 9.
Yeah, I got 9 too. Yeah.
The only one who doesn't seem to be hungover the following morning is Tig McGuinness. You did pretty well. I got a natural 17 on the dice, but you are all deathly hungover. Like,
Oh.
it is hard to want to do anything, and it does mean that you lose some of the day in whatever you're planning on doing. But, however, the good news is this party was off the fucking chain. Like, at one point, Tig was weaving like magical illusions, like fucking disco lights, and he was referring to himself as the Disco Mystic. This is a beer by Whiplash. He was pure, like, living his ancient medieval 70s vibes.
Tig knew how to party.
At one point, Arlington, he comes over to you rather drunk and he goes, "Well, you know, lad, I'm not actually the Disco Mystic. Like, the real Disco Mystic, like, if you're looking for any answers and anything, just look for the Disco Mystic. Whenever you need an answer, and it's a Disco Mystic." And he seems to be like, there's an element of imparting real folklore about this world, that there is a creature or entity or semi-deity called the Disco Mystic. And if you ever need information, look for the Disco Mystic. You just remember that as you wake up, like, Disco Mystic. But that's not only, that's kind of a party. Everyone, he's doing that thing where he bounces from Arlington, he goes across to Iggy. Well, of course, you know, Mystic. He does the same story to everyone across the course of the night. But the boon is, much like the drunken night and session, the lock-in you had in Drake, where you now all have a flashpoint to ask anything or to say, this is where I found out this, you have another flashback. But this one specifically has to do with arcane knowledge, magics, mysteries, kind of the arcane fabrics of Hibernia. Because at some point during the night, Tig McGuinness has imparted a level of information that is planted into your subconscious brain. But in a time of need, you can go. We can flash back to this party with Tig on the dance.
But we're otherwise we were too drunk to remember it. But at some point, we'll remember
knowing it ahead of time. Yes.
Okay, cool.
See, I have a flashpoint written down, but I can't remember the context. When was our first flashpoint again? The meeting?
First flashpoint was the tavern.
It was the last night we saw Rian.
Yes, yeah, okay.
And I should say, this was great. This is delicious. I hadn't seen these Dundalk. brewery beers, and yeah, take if I like it as with a grain of salt. Obviously, like this means it's easy drinking, but this is delicious.
Delicious she means it has no flavor whatsoever.
No, it actually does have
Brewmaster.
flavor.
Oh, it has a
It's
flavor.
It's a pilsner, and it's lovely.
Yeah,
Nice. Smooth.
Pilsner's good.
House party might come up more and more and more. Like you just know if you meet an NPC that you think will be useful for you, pull out house party.
So the common thread of our flashpoints is just whenever we get so drunk that we can't remember what happened.
That makes sense.
In times of need, you kind of go, hang on, something, who?
Yeah.
What? No,
okay.
she.
It's a good trade-off for a hangover if we're like, okay.
Oh, it's a good Irish way of going about something. I heard something at a party once.
So our first side quest is we need to find some lilt and chicken rolls and maybe a jam bun.
Well, I have a pineapple and grapefruit beer. That's similar to lilt.
Oh, maybe that'll remove your exhaustion point if it's not a hangover cure. Yeah.
You all wake up with different levels of exhaustion. Tyke is up. Just seems like a man on the set. Like doesn't seem to have. At one point, he cracked out a bear on. At a certain point during the night, fucking the rebels. I'm not even gonna go to that rock party concert. Fuck whatever tomorrow.
Oh, that's on tonight. Ah, yes.
Yeah. So the rock show is on tonight. It's midday. There's some freshly baked bread, but nothing else more in the kitchen. Tig has left a note. Well, if you need me, I'll be around, but I had to get up and kind of do a bit of business, So he's gone for the time being, just for just because he's a busy man.
I'm done making that voice.
Yeah. Well, I've headed off because you don't need to spend your time chatting around me, and I feel like I'm a distraction from the real task at hand, more so than in any help towards your goals.
I've left in the interest of plot.
But I have to go tend to mine down the road. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The day is yours. The day is yours, and you're good to spend it as you wish.
First of all, I've got so much vomit in my fur. I need to work on this. I might have to wash before we go anywhere. But
stop shouting.
I'm so sorry.
Just go on without me. Just leave me here.
Bury me with my jacks.
I'm done.
We should probably start investigating one of the Twisted family. Are we still thinking hibiscus is the way to go?
I will. There was definitely some people at the party last night talking about the gig. I promised.
Did you learn any information
when I'd see them there?
Did you learn any information about one of the dwarves, one of the twisted dwarves that we could use?
I didn't remember. I told a lot of people I'd be there and that we'd take this up again.
That's sort of inhibited our element of surprise then, hasn't it?
I will, that it seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Well, I can't argue with that.
They spoke of a very useful weapon, actually, that we could obtain if we go to this rock concert. I believe they called it a dog. And we can really just ride this out if we just go. I think just go to the concert. Just
Did you say a dog?
The hair of the dog.
Oh right. I think it cut out for me. Just like they've got a dog.
Oh no, sorry. It was already a bad joke, but yeah.
We should go on a quest to find the hair of the dog.
The hair of the dog. That's what I was saying.
A mystical diorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. You leave Tig's apartment, and as you're making your way down the corridor, two rather sleepy, rather exhausted-looking dwarfs confront you and go, "Well, you fucking done making noise, or are we expecting more trouble today?" And they look like the real.
Which one of you is called Sleepy, and which one of you is Grumpy?
Is that? That's a dwarf joke. That's a dwarf joke. He's a fucking, and you can see them kind of reaching for their axe. I go, do you need a baiting? Because we can put you in your place. Don't look too hot this morning. You were giving me some lip at the door last night.
I'm gonna let Grud take over because he's gonna be a little bit more fresh, and then he squares up and like eyes down the two dwarves and is like, "And what you gonna do if I want to pick a fight?" Try and intimidate them if you can.
Yeah. And make a Constitution saving throw. In the meantime, Iggy, you were doing something.
Oh no! Well, if he's doing, I was gonna cast Phantasmal Force on them to try
You
and
can if you want.
cast some of our fear.
It's a 7 for my save. I keep rolling real bad for these.
You try to talk, you go, well, what do you... and then something just heaves up, and the sentence is stopped by bile.
I've spent so much of this campaign getting sick.
If they seem still aggressive, I want to. I'm not like really looking, but I want to cast Phantasmal Force at them to shut them up. Which is they need to do a intelligence saving throw.
All right. Oh, not great on either side. Both of them fail, as far as I know. Let me just double check their intelligence. Yeah.
Great. Well,
I know your spell DC is bigger than 6.
The guilt of a horrific hangover, and I just put that into their mind. So hopefully they're both immediately racked with like self-reflection and.
Sorry, I made a mistake because in my head, for whatever reason, you did not say this, but I assumed this. You were casting hypnotic pattern.
Oh no!
You said Phantasmal Force.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No. Look, I know because now that I'm listening to you, so that would only affect one of them because it's a target of one creature, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, then the one who spoke, I'm not thinking very straight. So yeah, you're right. Hypnotic pattern would have been better to distract them. Instead, I'm just trying to essentially send my fear into that.
We need to burn those big spell slots so early in the day. I think we're okay here.
Well, Phantasmal Force has been cast, and the one who spoke just kind of goes, "Oh, I'm so fuck."
Okay, yeah, no worries. I'm trying to hurry up.
We can fucking take these. Don't be just me. But it's real fucking embarrassing what I just said there. It's like it just hit me how embarrassing. Oh, it's so fucking embarrassed by it all. Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
That's it.
Right? Yous are just people who turned up at the party. They don't live here.
No, these actually are neighbors nearby who weren't invited or were invited or didn't go or it was a work night for them. But you don't know their backstory. I've just you just know they're pissed off, corridor neighbors. But with that Phantasmal Force of the fear just sinking in, he's like, oh man, I just need fuck.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try and hurry us out then.
Yeah, and as you hear the other one going, it's all right, man. You didn't say anything like that about it. Like I wouldn't be ashamed of it, or like we've all been there. Like we've all lost our heads. Yeah. So do you need to?
That was a waste of a spell slot, but
it saved us a fight, and it was interesting to see guilt weaponized.
Yeah, Ben, you do a very convincing fear. It's almost like you.
That's my daily state.
Familiar.
You're merely adopted. Yeah, you make your way through. I mean, that was just my little like, hey, we haven't really had a fight in a while. I'll serve this on a platter. But yeah, nicely done. At that exact moment, your hangover hasn't cured, but you do all feel a little emboldened. Like, if you think back on your adventure and you go, Jesus, from when we all met in that ship and we kind of sailed the 7 seas and crash landed outside of the Dead Pony Club in McKellar, and like, you just witnessed Iggy just sort of like shut a conversation down, just going like, no, fuck that, and walk through. And it was such a lovely moment of, give up smoking, take those cancer sticks, like a Jedi mind trick. All of you level up, all of you fucking in that moment just go, nice. We'll roll hit dice and etc next session. We'll do all that later on. But you do feel emboldened, stronger. It's probably the first time. It's just like a lovely little adventuring moment. You go, we got this, and you make your way out the building.
Nice.
That never happens when I'm hungover.
It never gets stronger and more powerful.
Yeah. Is this like a fake level up and we're just delusional? Like we're making a diet.
We think we're more powerful than we are.
I'm so
powerful. Like an exercise. Yeah.
We thought we were 30th level last night with the shy talk. Like.
I could take on Rua. You could take on Rua doesn't sound fucking.
No, man, I'm telling you can't kill me while I'm raging. You can't do it.
You flashback to Arlington, just like challenging people to a fight, and Ty coming over and going, the adventurer's code, Arlington.
And he goes, "Oh, the adventurer's code."
Yeah, you make it past the car door encounter. You solved my angry neighbors puzzle. 10 stairs you go.
Okay, will we go straight to the fighting quarry and try and find some shit about hibiscus?
Yeah.
I presume we need tickets for the gig.
I don't think we're not going into the gig yet. We're just checking out the place, and we can probably get tickets there. We can probably pay on the door.
But I'm saying, unless the gig's right now, it might be a ticketed event.
But they're like, hibiscus is down in the fighting quarry, not necessarily just because of the gig, right?
Yeah, I think that's where they're hanging out.
You asking me or just
in general, the universe? I imagine we're going to go down
a-
and find hibiscus there with a yellow exclamation mark above her head, like just waiting for us to come down there and ask.
use the question mark on your map. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Follow the breadcrumb
yeah,
tracks.
Yeah. Make an investigation check. You can be group. Everyone can do this, and based on how well.
Even you at home, I've rolled like shit every roll.
Oh no!
That's a 3 for Arlington. Arlington rolled a 3 plus 0.
With an investigation.
Yeah.
17.
Nice.
3.
Yeah.
Iggy, you make your way down to the quarry is in the lower levels. It's near the mine. Some might say a mine is a quarry. Me? It's not how I drew this map.
No, mine is underground. Quarry's above ground, right?
If you're looking at the map of Sliabh Gem, the quarry is right beside the mine. So anyone who has it on screen, anyone who has it in the Discord, all that kind of stuff. Oh, we have a Discord, join that. Anyone who has it there, the mine is the big dwarven face with the mouth as a hole. There's a cart that goes into it, but the quarry is right beside it, and kind of it's down the lower levels, because it's the bottom of the picture. That's who drew it. Near the waterfall to the right, you got the quarry. Waterfall to the left, some sort of stadium of sorts. Who knows? That never came up. So the quarry's over there, but you do find, as you make your way through and down the city, you jump on some carts, you kind of take the wrong turn. Some of that is Arlington and Huck, in due course, insisting they know the right way to go. Like, no.
And then rolling my eyes, dragging them along to the direction.
We can't stop and ask for directions. I know where we're going.
It's that way. It's always that way. Everyone knows that.
As he points up, and it's clearly a minecart going up and not down towards. It's like
I realize I've been looking at the wrong axe as a map, and it's just like a few scratches that are on it.
This is just my scratched shield.
It's just a regular unenchanted axe. It doesn't have a map on
it. You're trying to find your way around. Huck and Arlington, make a perception check.
Come on, give me a good roll.
Oh.
12 plus 3, 15.
15, nice.
6.
6. Huck, I have some bad news for you. Something is missing from your inventory. You don't know what.
No.
But something's gone. So we'll figure that out later. But in all your searching around the city and all your kind of open exclamations about it's this way, it's that way, it's, bad illness have fallen upon you in the dwarven city of Sliabh Gem. You eventually make your way towards the quarry. It's empty. Seems like just an open quarry at the moment. You've realized that there's some people setting up for the gig later, and there is a pub nearby. And you're like, Iggy, with your investigation check, you're like, where else is she going to be? It takes a little bit of swaying. It's getting closer and closer to the concert, but you do make your way into this tavern. It is called, what we call this place. Let's see what we can call this place.
Hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog? It's not a bad name. It's not on a beard, though.
I don't have that beard.
I have the third circle. If you like that.
Oh, nice.
That circle is really good.
Nice.
Hair of the circle is a great name for this beer. And this bar.
Sorry,
Wait, I should point out to the audience. Disco.
Not to take away from that, because I do enjoy it. If we're cherry picking words, I do like Atlantic Blonde, because it's Atlantic Blonde Ale.
That could be the description of hibiscus. She's an Atlantic blonde.
Yeah, okay, that works.
Ooh.
Yeah,
You
nice,
cut out, so I
nice.
didn't react, by the way. I didn't hear what you said. So
Well,
I
that
just
was
went,
very polite of you then.
Ooh.
You
my
learn that
internet
you're-
has gone a bit dodgy, just so if I don't hear something or if I pause too much, it's cutting out a little bit for me.
As long as we get big reactions, I don't care if you actually heard or not.
Ooh, ah.
See? Oh, perfect. This is going to be seamless.
Look, future, take that as an edit point. Slice it in anytime we need a big laugh.
Yes.
That weird, posh, vibrating laugh that I just did there.
It's good,
Great.
yeah. It's
Funny
a
enough,
high
that
society
is-
laughing at low society.
That is the
Yeah.
laugh that draws your attention as you look and see an Atlantic. Sorry, what I wanted to point out is that Disco Mystic, which I've been having this half, is 8%. I didn't realize it when I cracked into
We're
it. It's a
literally
double-
cautionary tailing us at the start with how you sneak in an 8% beer.
Yeah,
You
it's a
got
double
carried away by
IPA.
the house party, didn't you? You wanted
I
him to
did.
reveal the disco.
I think,
So we're
yeah,
in
it was before we were
dangerous-
live, but Ben literally said that himself and Gav had issues where they'd have like a bunch of 3 or 4% beers and then one 8 or 10% snuck in there and you wouldn't feel it until you've drank it. He literally warned us about this.
We're in dangerous DM territory, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be a more responsible DM this year. That's all I'm doing. And you find your way towards the third circle, which is the pub by the quarry, and you learn through your investigation. 80 years was high enough to know that you are on the lookout for an Atlantic blonde. Is that what it? Yeah.
That's it,
Okay.
that's it.
The only reason I'm hesitating is because Atlantean, the White Hag beer, is
Yeah.
set in Atlantean Son of the Sea. So
It is.
I've almost
I'm
felt
willing
this.
to recant the Atlantic Blonde.
No, it's an Atlantic blonde. That's what we're looking for. Hibiscus is an Atlantic blonde. And you make your way into this bar, and it is a. It's funny. It looks like a stone block wall. Like there's no door, and you're kind of you walk around it a couple of times. You're trying to find your way in until you realize that as dwarves seem to be approaching this place, this sort of rumble, which is hard to hear over the mine carts shooting by and the kind of the near, and the wall itself parts like an automatic door. It's like there's some sort of runic confusion.
Were we just not standing close enough for the sensor to pick us up, and we were just like skirting around?
We're so
You didn't realize where the entrance was until you realized that it was a hidden door. And third circle is a reference to somebody's third eye, kind of Arctic, a magic third eye, and that's why it's an invisible door.
Oh, such improv, this DM.
I'm trying my best, buddy. And you walk into this place, and it is, I would describe it as my perfect pub because it's all snug. It's just not.
Don't do this. I actually can't. Hearing lovely pub descriptions is so cruel. In the world of lockdown.
Another thing I'm learning as a DM is stop when the description lands. And I think just all snugs is enough you need to know about this place.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
But what it
For
does mean is
anyone
that
that's not from, I think it's an Ireland and English thing. A snug is basically, it has all the benefits of being out with a crowd, with all the benefits of just being out with the only people you want to hang out with.
Yes.
A little private beer booth.
Yeah, it's like you can hang out with 4 people or with like 100 people around you. It's fucking perfect.
the reason it's all snug is because the fighting quarries, where they normally have fights, but today they have a rock show, is that like it's better for this pub to be private for the fighters, the champions, the sort of like pit fighters, so they don't mingle as much and accidentally cause a fight based on previous slights, insults. What happens in the fighting pit doesn't always stay in the fighting pit. So this snug based pub is a way to just keep the patrons apart,
Keep them separate.
in the nicest, coziest, calmest way possible.
So there's
And as you walk
social
in,
distancing.
yeah.
Social distancing, but for an actual social.
Except for the bubbles.
Yeah.
They should call it the bubble. And it's that laugh, it's that haughty laugh of new money that Lucy did for us. That brings you to a blonde dwarven woman. She's laughing with some other dwarven friends. And sorry, I take that back. Rewind. She's laughing with no one. That's way more dramatic. She's laughing to herself as she takes another sip of her beer. And you walk towards the snug, and you just see her kind of scowling, and then go.
I'm immediately scared of this woman.
Yeah.
And my job as DM is done.
Who does she see inside that beer? I wonder. Iggy thinks.
Iggy thinks it's her mother, right?
Yeah,
He
well,
is
it's still
terrified of
liquid
puddles
season.
and large bodies of liquid or
Yeah.
small bodies of liquid.
That woman in the corner there seems to fit the description of the dwarf we're looking for. Should we all just approach her at once? Should we?
She has a full drink, does she? Oh, I
Oh.
can't hear you,
Okay.
man. You're muted.
That's a great.
Sorry, I muted myself to type, and I realized you asked me a question. I just automatically responded. I said it's far more sinister. She's laughing into dregs, so she's laughing into dregs.
Okay. Can we tell what she was like? Does it look like it was a beer or a specific cocktail? I basically want to like buy her another drink, but could I guess what her drink is from the dregs?
Yeah, why not? Make a perception. I'll let you do perception, nature, or insight. Insight based on how drunk she is. You might be able to tell the type of liquor. Like your choice.
I'll go
Nature.
with perception, I think.
Yeah,
Because when I was
perception.
starting to think of make like as in I'm just trying to see like, if it's I'm not trying to get if it's a beer, I'm not trying to get the specific brand of beer. Just I don't want to, if she's
You know,
drinking
the
wine, I
year,
don't want to give
the
her a
vintage.
fucking
What if it's
If
the
she-
Guinness that's been
if
served?
she's got a glass of red, I don't want to give her a stout,
Yes, yeah. Perception. It's low.
More shit
You know what,
rolls.
Before we talk to her,
6.
I just wanted to say something to the guys as well. Before we.
6.
Yeah. 6.
She's drinking a point. That's a point. That's a point of something. It's just a point. She's drinking a pint of something. It's not wine. You know the glass it's in.
I'm going to grab her a few beers and offer her one. It'll be a nice icebreaker. Yes.
Okay, and just to say, our game plan here is we're gonna tell her everything that's happening as far as or what are we telling her? It's what's our game plan again?
I don't know. I wouldn't have said tell her everything.
Okay.
Oh,
Seems like she might be on the other side.
how about this? Well, we know there's a wedge between all of the Twisted family. So what if we say that we have reason to believe that the Nut and Knot are in league with Rua, and we're here to try and thwart their plans, and then she'll immediately be against Rua and her and Nut and Knot.
Okay, so we're gonna tell her that that the map, the roads and the map have been done actually for this nefarious scheme, and her brothers are in on it.
Yes. And then she'll help us. Like she won't want them to succeed if they're at odds.
Yes, and her children will perish.
I hate to be the
Well,
one.
we can save the children thing until we absolutely need to. Maybe hold back on that unless necessary.
Sure. Okay, I can. Yeah.
But we'll keep it in the chamber,
In
ready
the
to go.
chamber. Yes.
So our game plan, as far as I can understand, is to trust her implicitly with virtually all of our information. That's fine. That's Huck's modus
I
operandi.
miss Rian more every day.
I would have suggested it myself. I'm surprised both of you are so on board.
Ignatius, perhaps you should lead the charge in the talking. She might be, more forthcoming to a fellow female face.
And also, you have the highest charisma stat.
Sure. Okay. So yes.
Oh, wait,
yes.
no.
I think
I don't know. You both. I have the lowest. Is the point.
Biggie's is higher than mine, I think, by one at least.
Did I cut out there?
A little.
Like
But-
froze.
Okay.
Sorry.
But I think I know what's happening. Arlington, you're going to the bar to get some beers.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a round of drinks for like the three of us, plus hibiscus.
And you're naturally bugbear lengthy arms allow you to like properly. You could carry like
Oh, that's what they're built for, baby. Carrying pints.
Oktoberfest amount of pints. You can carry all this. You could carry pints, man.
Some crisps under the arms as well, some nuts.
Yeah, you get everything, and it only sets you back 5 silver.
Okay.
I don't know if that's it anyway, overpriced or underpriced, but that's what it sets you back here. It's concert night. If it's inflated, it's concert night. If it's underflated, it deals for the locals. It's concert night.
It's a concert. We should each get 2 so we can, hold back.
Yeah, you can't bring drinks in, so you actually better get everyone to Arlington. To be fair, like if you're gonna be sad, it's 10 silver.
10 silver. No, you're dead right.
That's one gold.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I approach her?
Yeah. You walk in and instantly. No, that's not as dramatic as you sit before she looks up. That's way more scary, right? It's just like she's sitting. You sit down.
She's still laughing when we walk in.
Yeah, she's having a chuckle to herself. She's finding her own joy.
I'm very
Am I
unnerved by
saying-
this person.
Can I join in the laugh with her? So that she like, can I
Well, just join.
like Ben, you do the laugh and can I try and join in?
Yeah. You bring up, Lucy, you bring up a very important point, which is now that I'm playing a character, this is a trick used in movies all the time where like the charismatic one just kind of walks up and goes, what are we talking about, guys?
Yeah.
Which is so suspicious. Now that I'm actually in a
Yeah.
position where I'm like, what
I
the
actually
fuck?
shouldn't do that. I actually was planning to play it way more cool, but
No, but make
No,
a
this
make
is
a persuasion check.
Wildly unsettling.
okay, that
Persuasion
was
or-
a not natural, but that was a 20 persuasion
Yeah,
check.
yeah.
Nice.
You
Okay.
slide right into that. You harmonize with this laugh.
Okay,
It's
and then
like-
and then can I go like, what? I'm gonna. Are you hibiscus?
Who's asking?
I'm.
No, that can't be your voice.
Oh, I
Who's
kind of
asking?
want that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I mean, I don't. No. I'm sorry if you're not. I just. I'm looking for her. I've got a real issue with her brothers, and I was told that the voice of reason in the Twisted family is hibiscus, and I was told to come here. I was told she was this beautiful Atlantic blonde, and I'm sorry, but you just fit the bill.
He strokes her dwarven beard and goes, "Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Yeah. I am the least twisted and the most beautiful of my family. So I am hibiscus."
I haven't had the misfortune of meeting your brothers in person, but I was.
She starts laughing, and you suddenly realize, oh, she's laughing about killing her brothers.
Yeah.
Or you assume, I don't know.
The laugh one has when one is considering fratricide?
Fratricide,
Ooh, is that a
brothers, yeah.
Mm.
Or killing your frat bros.
Yeah, that's that.
Okay, well, and here, you might have absolutely no interest in this, but I've heard that what your brothers are doing is it's some heinous stuff, stuff that could really ruin the world for.
Keep your voice down.
sorry.
Keep your
Oh,
voice
sorry.
down.
Can I slide around closer to her?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can like.
You're in. Yeah.
Are we,
So I'm
are we in the
whispering.
snug as well, just awkwardly hanging
Yeah.
out?
No, you come back
I
at this point.
gesture at the guys, so she.
I mean, I'm fine leaving you to
But,
this alone, but it feels like it's gonna be real awkward.
I joined in on the last one, but no one acknowledged me at all. So
I think, are we just having our own conversation on the other side of the table? Just like,
I've gone to a booth, an empty booth beside it, and just lay down because I'm still very hung up. Laughing, I didn't get the joke as well.
Fair.
So I'm just the next booth along, but lying down, presuming it's empty.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well,
You managed to find it.
I'm gonna just talk to her quietly and close so that she feels safe, and so I'm gonna say that, like, yeah, I've just heard that what they are planning, they're in with some really, really bad people, and like it's gonna be dangerous for everyone, for everyone's families. It's bad stuff, and I was just wondering if you would be able to help. I want to get in. I just want to at least see their plans, because I've heard they've got these roads and these maps, and it's all to suit their needs and to suit their plans. And yeah, I'm just trying to get a look at them.
Enough about the roads. All I've heard these last couple of months, the roads, this, the roads, that. The roads are going to make us money. The roads are going to make Twisted money. Twisted Nut, that is, not Twisted Nut. Not me. I'm not seeing any penny of that. Despite being
I
the
bet
one
you not.
who... I shouldn't say that to you, actually. I shouldn't say that to you.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Never mind. I was about to say I shouldn't be saying. I shouldn't be talking.
I know. Go on.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah, go on. I mean, you can't beat it.
Oh, 23.
I was going to say, well, with advantage, let's see if you get it. Let's see if you get a natural 20 on the. A good go on can go a far way with someone.
That was 18.
23.
Sorry, 18.
What I was going to say is I shouldn't be saying to you, but like the roads, no one ever remembers. And as you get a good close look at her blonde hair, which is kind of sort of pushed back, but also like it looks like she had a nice, neat braid that's a little bit fallen loose on one side, and you can see it kind of covering her right side of her face. And as she brushes it aside, you notice that she's wearing a wet rag covering one of her eyes. It's wet, not all the way around, just specifically over the eye socket. In that it seems like she doesn't have an eye under there.
Okay.
That's the impression you
I'm
get.
so glad you clarified that one.
Iggy hides a shudder, sure, and turns it into a little laugh.
And she
Jesus
strokes
Christ.
her blonde beard, which she has sort of fashioned into a
lady's goatee.
A lady's goatee. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. A lady's goatee. I shouldn't be saying it to you, but like, I was the one who drew the plans. And then if it wasn't for the unfortunate worm burrowing accident in my eyes, I had no depth perception, which is why I keep losing in the fighting pits. And I'm here to... Look, my brother takes all the credit. Twisted, takes all the credit. And I'm actually the one who did the thinking, but I didn't get the money. I didn't get the fame. I didn't get the fancy house. I'm stuck here. Haven't seen my kids. Haven't seen the childers in fucking weeks. So,
Sorry.
it is what it is. Sliabh, as the
So you did all that work on those roads, and they're taking all the credit for it.
Not only have they taken the credit, but there's a buzzing in my head when I try to think of the plans. It's not there. It's gone. I could, if you handed me a map of Hibernia today, I couldn't do it again.
But they have the plans up in the headquarters.
Well, there's no between you and me. There's no headquarters. It's just all run out of my brother's place. The big fancy. I'm sure you've seen it with the big K on the gates. Gah.
And is that hard to get into? Is that like a fault, does he?
Well, let me put it this way: if you're a bar of good ale, it's not hard to get into. But he doesn't take visitors. Visitors isn't. That's not. I mean, the accent's there, but visitors isn't pronounced visitors.
Well, I imagine. I mean, with all that money, and he must be smart enough. He's probably made it impenetrable. I bet there's no way to get in. He probably wouldn't let there be.
I know when I go there just to have a word, he shuns me. People these days don't even know. I'm surprised you found me because, as far as I'm aware, scorched off the family tree. Scorched. So I spend my days fighting to numb the pain. And you've brought all that pain back up in me.
Oh, can I give her a hug?
I'm gonna, because I'm still in the snug. I'm just gonna slowly push the beer I bought over for her.
But you beer.
You're too kind.
I'm going to come back and have another go at the laughing. And then
Perfect moment for it. Pain is funny. Yes.
We're not doing the laughing. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. There's gonna be a little tear that I wipe away. Sorry, it breaks my heart to hear about families treating families that way. I mean, in your name, I would love to get some vengeance for you, and also to help the good people in this world that aren't your rotten brothers. Do you have any advice? How we can fight?
One of the brothers are rotten. The other one's just he's a workhorse. Like, I wouldn't keep nuts out of this. Nuts.
Okay.
But nuts.
Okay.
Nothing. Not to
You
keep
can
nuts
understand
out.
the confusion, though. Nuts. I get them mixed up.
Well, they
Sorry,
sound completely different.
Yes, of course.
You start drawing some looks from like other tables who are like, well, they're having a good time.
Couldn't be happier with how that played out.
I'm so confused.
But how is Lucy feeling?
Yeah, Lucy's totally fine. Her internet's doing grand. Iggy, on the other hand, has poor connection.
Did you miss some exposition there?
I think, well, Knots is okay, right?
Not
Yes.
not
It
as
was
okay.
just that
Nuts-
I just
Sorry,
cut
sorry,
out
sorry.
after that.
Other way around.
Sorry,
Well,
K with
it
a
is-
K. K is bad
And
Yeah,
nuts
okay
is,
is bad,
nuts is
okay.
okay.
because he's got the
And
big
Nuts
K
is-
in his.
Yeah, Knots is bad.
Do you think Nuts would do you think he'd help us? Because I'm thinking maybe having someone come with us as we're gonna break in to get these to get the map. Do you think he'd be good?
Well, if you can find Nuts, then maybe. But no one's seen Nuts for. Nuts went out with a shipment of gem wagons out the road to deliver. He's awfully in debt. So he went out to pay the debt, and well, with the bands of bandits around, I mean, Nuts walked into his grave as far as I'm concerned.
Fair. That must be so tough for you. Okay. Well, I'm gonna just look at the other guys like.
Are you going to the concert?
We heard about the concert.
Do you mind if I tackle? I have no one to go with. Do you mind? I won't be a downer or anything. I'll just be there. Like,
Let's go.
because you guys seem like you got the
This poor
spirit of
woman
life.
is so desperate.
Yeah, so don't mind us. We just had a bit of a mad one last night, you know yourself.
And is there
so
another
we just-
round going? And she looks towards you, having already you've just pushed a drink towards her, and she's
She's
finished.
already downed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get her a fresh one. I'm like, "Oh, absolutely, I'll go get you a fresh one now. Was that all right? Would you like?
You're too kind. You're too good. Well,
In a stone barrel.
Oh, that's interesting.
is everyone except for me still here?
I
Yeah.
can hear you guys.
I mean,
Yeah.
are we
But
still alive?
I think our good old technomancer Paul might have lost us.
He must be the one that dropped out. Hey,
We're back. We're good.
I think I stayed there. But for clarity and for context for the audience, our Skype call is acting fuzzy. It's
Oh, shit.
also stormy and lashing rain, and I know it's
Yeah,
I know
Amaze
it's
is
a
the
thing,
biggest
but
issue we've had.
yeah, rain in Ireland can kill the internet like no one's business. It just goes. So it is a stormy night here, despite the crack we're having in this pub.
Right, I'm gonna go to the bar and get her a pint of Ishkabah.
Arlington.
Barrel aged.
Another one of those Ishkabahas for me as well, Arlington.
Tell you what, I'll get her round for the table, and I'll probably change my mind when I find out how expensive they are.
They're not too bad. Arlington, you go to the bar, and what you paid last time for a solid double round and some snacks and drinks, this one round costs you the same. So it's 1 gold for 4 of these stone aged ales. What was previously in the stone was
So it's like she a student lager kind of price.
Oh, Ben.
All right, it's worth it to get the information. I will
have
pay
idea.
it.
Oh, it's more expensive. I thought you were saying it was really cheap. Okay.
No. 1 gold, as in 1 €50 note, not 3,
Okay,
5.
gotcha. I thought you said the whole round cost the price of 1 beer. And I thought, wow.
I'll buy them and bring them back and slide them all onto the table.
While he's doing that, right?
Mhm.
I heard the conversation about her not being able to remember the map, right?
Mhm.
Here's my thinking. Rua did something to make her not be able to remember what she drew. Rua's a fairy, so it's probably some kind of fey magic. Can I dredge up any? Can I even see that there might be some kind of fey, thing messing with her brain?
That's a very good question, and I want you to make an Arcana check. Arcana with advantage, because very well played. I'm gonna look something up, because it all depends on what level spell this is.
Okay.
Ooh.
So ignore the clicking in the background.
Good thinking, Keelan. I just thought she was, traumatized.
So did I. I assumed it was trauma.
Yeah.
Oh, I presumed it was, you get someone to draw a plan and then that's the person you make sure that, that's the loose end.
Oh no, completely makes sense. But I was the same. I was like, oh, she's, someone gauged her eye out and she's just traumatized.
She's so sad.
Keelan has a true mob boss mentality, I think.
Yeah. If I wanted somebody to...
Buck isn't necessarily the player to have this insight. 14, unfortunately, even with the advantage.
14. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's not
It's
great.
not the wildest. It's not the wildest theory, though. Like, you don't know what's happened to this woman. Having dealt in memory erasing experiences, as in the one you put yourself through.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it could be something fey, but it could also not be.
Okay, I'm not detecting any trace of glamour or something.
No, and there's no immediate kind of sense of, if only we went to a tree and found a shrub and grew a seed, we could restore this woman's memories.
I mean, I'll suggest it.
You love making us go to trees for things. Yeah. More side quest to trees. Okay.
Any trees around in this mountain? But you don't know if it was fey based. It's a good reasoning of thought, but actually the more you think about it, you're kind of going, that could be anything really. Could be drama.
Yeah, I am hungover, so
yeah.
Stab in the dark. Anyway, that all happened in my head, so.
Actually, you're right. You are hungover. I should have made you do that with disadvantage, but hey, it's too late now. That's my problem.
We also all have a point of exhaustion.
Yeah. So everyone persuasion checks and stuff. I haven't been keeping track of them, so it's my fault. So that's okay.
I did completely forget
all
about
that. The second roll
that.
with the advantage was a 2, so I used the first roll, and it would have evened out advantage versus disadvantage. So
yeah.
Yeah, you gave me advantage on one, but it was either 18 or 23, so I think.
I'm also rewarding. This is the year of good cinematography gameplay. Cinematographic. That's what I mean.
Cinematic?
Yeah, that's the one.
Cinematographic.
This is when we hire a director of photography for the campaign.
For the case of brevity, the night continues on. It's not hard to find tickets to the rock show. You go in. Is there anything over the course of the night each of you get before we kind of wrap up the episode, like a moment of inquiry with Hibiscus?
Could I would love to know find something embarrassing that Knots did as a kid, something that maybe I can bully him over. If we need to. Maybe I won't need to bully him.
Fine. I would like to ask if Nuts has any reason, like, is he particularly wealthy or valuable? Like, is there a reason he might have been captured by a local bandit group, or any reason he'd be attractive to them?
Okay. Yeah. And Huck.
I'd like to ask how this whole roads idea, came about. Who had,
Why them roads happen though?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. We obviously, what a great idea having roads so that everyone could travel. It's obviously a moneymaker. Who was the big?
So you're just asking about roads as a concept?
No, yeah. Fae don't have roads. No.
What's the deal with all the roads?
These particular.
Where Fae's going, we don't need roads.
I was thinking the same thing.
Did you invent roads? That's what I'll ask her. No. How did the whole endeavor begin?
Okay. Yeah. Because I was confused. I was thinking what Wes was saying. Why roads, though? But I see what you're asking now, and yes, I can give you the answer to that. If everyone rolls it's up to you, but I want you to tell me what you do. Persuasion, intimidation. There are only 2 options, but it is all at disadvantage because we're really hungover.
The disadvantage.
Is Hibiscus kind of jacked? Is she a strong enough gal?
She looks built. Yeah.
I want to try and I think as we're drinking, I challenge her to an arm wrestling contest, and then the winner gets information.
Lovely. Okay.
So I can use strength.
So we're actually going to do an athletics off. She's going to be
exactly what I was hoping for.
You're going to be. So I'll deal with this first. She's going to be a straight roll. You're going to be disadvantaged.
She's going
she's going to be just a straight roll because she's not exhausted. You're going to be disadvantaged because you are.
Check. That's fair.
Yeah.
So 15 for the first one. and a 10 for the second, which makes me 16.
Even on the dice, she got a 19.
Oh, she's strong, and I'm so weak.
And she does that thing that, like, expert. You get the feeling. You do get a little bit to know about her. You know that she will talk herself into a drink as opposed to buying one for herself. And you also get the feeling that she will arm wrestle herself into a drink or a round of drinks for the night as opposed to buying one for herself. She doesn't have a lot of money. Didn't make any money off the Clockwork Tangerine deal. But she does that thing that expert arm wrestlers do where it's like lock, pose, certain angle. I know there's torque, there's physics involved. Whatever that thing is, boom, straight down.
Yeah, she's wrestled arms before.
She's done some arm wrestling. She might be a dab hand at finger skating. You don't know. But
God,
when it comes to these guns, the Moors, she's conquered nations.
Yeah. You got grifted. You got grifted, Arlington.
Yeah.
Grifted.
In which case, she gets to know something about you.
Oh yeah.
Do I have to like be forthcoming about something like that might be in the show, or to up about Arlington that maybe not everyone knows?
She has to ask.
Up to you. I'm trying to think if she asks a question.
Does she just like ask for his number or something?
Yeah, like what would she ask?
In D&D world.
I know what she asks. She leans in close, like eye to eye. Audience, this isn't the most exciting thing to ask because we know the answer to this question, but she's personally curious and I'm playing the character, not the DM. What you got under that mask, buddy?
Well, you've bested me in a contest of strength, so I guess I've got to show you. Keep it under your... Excuse me, I'm still dealing with the night before. Keep it under your hat.
No promises?
I'm a bugbear. Hey.
Weakest bugbear I've come across. Oh, boom!
Oh, that's not fair. It distracts me. Oh, my elbow. It hurts like gave me an owie. I'm telling Papa Tig.
So Hibiscus, who does not have any money and information is power, knows you're a bugbear. Let's deal with that consequence when it comes up. All right.
That's pretty accurate. I feel like that's definitely what she would ask the masked man if she was. Yeah, that's good.
Clearly, you are protecting this information.
What's under that skirt? What he got under that skirt?
It turns out she's not a mastermind. She's just a dirty old bitch.
Yeah, no, I'm not using strength. I use persuasion. Disadvantage, got a 16.
That's still good. That's still good.
I tried to like share with her some like embarrassing things, cousins that I hate, or just people that I hate, to get her to try and tell me some story that would really potentially hurt Knott's feelings. I'm looking for something that I could use for a potential like phantasmal force or something. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I see what you're doing. I'm hesitant to give you something because I actually, given how amazing you are at coming up with something, I'd much prefer to just say you know that, and if you ever meet Twisted,
okay, I can come up with
it. But I'm also happy to just come up with one. It's up to you. As a player, you get to get like you have
it's even what I would want to know for her is like, did he have like a complex growing up that he was the dumb one, or is he something so that I can use that against him?
I think both myself and everyone enjoying this adventure would much prefer in a couple of episodes' time if you manage to meet them, whatever you come up with. I think that's.
Hopefully we don't meet him and we just steal his shit, but you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I got some psychological warfare. Thanks.
Yeah. Add psychological warfare to your inventory. Yeah. We'll move on. And then Hook.
Okay. I hadn't rolled yet, but I'm on +8. It's, persuasion.
Okay.
Oh. I failed. Yeah, I failed. You take the lowest one on disadvantage, right?
Sure do.
Bearing in mind that I got a +8, I got 9.
You got 9.
That's a natural 1. The math's done for you.
It's. Oh, okay, right.
Oh wait, I rolled a natural 1 on disadvantage.
Yeah.
I can re-roll it, and then only take the worst other roll. Oh no.
Yeah.
Of all abilities in our campaign, that one is getting the most mileage by far.
Yeah.
Anyone out there looking to play D&D, be a lucky halfling, or a puka. You can find the puka stuff in our D&D Beyond page. It's all homebrewed, but like But like re-rolling ones, oh,
It's amazing.
It's so good. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went from a 1 to a 21.
but like I remember the first time I ever looked at. I won't deviate too far, but the first time I ever looked at the player's handbook, I saw that ability, and I was like, that sounds boring. And then I like orcs get to add an extra damage roll when they crit. I'm like, that's the fucking overpowered one. I want that. And like, you never see that. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
rerolling natural ones is incredible.
That's a proper game changer. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard
This
to
is-
crit as well. You know, you have to actually crit and then get extra damage on top, and you're already critting.
Exactly. Yeah. And then who cares? Like,
there's no like sweet, delicious, dramatic losing, but there's nice world building for any DM out there who's kind of going, oh, every time my character rolls a 1 and they get to reroll it. I would suggest, like I'm going to do now. I've never suggested this before because I only come up with it over Christmas or discovered it or whatever. Use it as a real world thing. Like the goddess of luck has intervened somehow or some shape or form and weaved the path of narrative in the direction that the roll went. That's what dice are. So you do this very delicious, salacious version of the truth where you almost reveal to Hibiscus that you are Prince Huck Apuka. Because up until now, she just assumes you're a rabbit boy.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
and
that's
it's
not weird.
I laugh all the time.
Yes, yeah.
Isn't
But
She likes to laugh. It's a normal laugh. It's a regular, normal laugh like normal people have.
mm-hmm.
This is a normal laugh for normal people. The thing she does, and this is why it's such a like almost devilish version of what you're doing, is that like, you know, when someone's telling a story, but it makes you think of a story you have yourself, and before they get to the punchline of their story, you have to interrupt, so you never actually learn what theirs was about. You prey upon that instinct of hers. And she goes, well, funny enough, actually, before you started, I don't mean to interrupt. You can continue actually in a second. But it just makes me think of, and you were looking for bandits. Why am I right? No, sorry. Wes was looking for bandits. He
Roads.
failed. You were looking
Roads.
for
Why
roads.
I'll tell you what I'm looking to see is some kind
What's
of.
a road?
Did Rua approach the Twisted Nut? Did the you know, early doors in them forming this plan? We might get some information from Rua, who was indiscreet at some point. She was like, you know what? I'm hanging out over here at exactly this spot. I doubt
Yeah,
it.
like
You know?
if it was Abby de Von Claire, that's going to be interesting.
Well, this is what's so sort of D&D about this situation, in that, like, because of the way the dice went, I'm also counting your natural 1 as like the world being like, no, fucking hell pokes monks out. The dice have spoken in the way the dice spoken has. She goes, funny enough, actually, and don't be telling people this, but like, my eldest brother, Twisted Nuts, doesn't think that we know why he started the Clockwork Tangerine. He brought me in one day and said, if you had to design a road system across Hibernia, how would you do it? And he handed me certain plans and said, look, they have to be in this particular shape and size and all that kind of stuff. And he didn't think that I knew what he knew, but like, you see the reflection of a woman in a puddle, and you kind of see the reflection of someone just kind of around. You get suspicious. And you do a little bit of digging and you go, well, that seems like some fey shit. If you don't mind me saying, that just seems like some fey shit.
That seems like some fey shit.
I know that's route 1 fey shit.
Yeah, so like, my brother always thought that we didn't know what he was up to. I didn't think he'd betray us. Like, that's my mistake. I didn't think he'd betray us, but like, someone's weaseled their way into his ear and just turned him into a fucking prick. And the thing is that, like, the roads didn't make sense. I was drawing straight roads. And she cannot emphasize enough how much the roads she was drawing, just straight roads across Hibernia. But this was all twirly, whirly roads. Roads spinning around roads. Roads like turning themselves into knots kind of roads. They're more like, well, like I said, fey magic shit before, like, I got it. But the twirly, whirly. To be honest, man, I wish I could remember what I fucking drew, but like, sorry, I can't be any more help. Anyway, what was oh, Stone Roses, man! At that moment inside the band, come on, and it is the human Stone Roses. They're here. Why not? They found themselves in their own podcast where they've been transported to Hibernia, and they're trying.
Can we have it in fiction that their band name is the Human Stone Roses? That's so good.
There's other acts you saw tonight. You saw what have you seen? Tell you what you didn't see. You didn't see Iron Maiden and you didn't see Nickelback. That's metal music, not rock music.
That's good.
That's what you've seen.
Whitesnake.
Bands or rock names.
Whitesnake?
Yeah, Whitesnake played.
I wanna rock.
Yeah. Rock You Like a Hurricane, the Scorpions played. All the stuff. But just at that moment in time, the band comes on. You've gotten what you think is as much information out of Hibiscus as you could get. And we will end. That's where we're going to end this episode. You were armed to the teeth, hopefully, with everything you needed to get. The goddess of luck is shining upon you, for all intents and purposes. And we will pick up in 2 weeks' time with the next step in the Sliabh Gem adventure. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. We're Homebrew. We're not an improv team telling our name at the end. Hey, we've been Homebrew. Thanks. Catch us in the tent. Catch us in the Spiegel tent later on today.
Catch us in the tent.
Yeah, a lot of it's everyone plays the Spiegel tent.
A lot of gigs are intense, all right? A lot of gigs.
Fair enough.
But if you haven't already, and this is your first episode, if someone put you on this episode, said, look, you're going to enjoy these idiots, think about subscribing, think about telling your friends about us, think about sharing the good word of Homebrew, because honestly, it helps us. We don't really, we're all doing this every 2 weeks. We in our spare time, because we fucking love it. We love giving an escape, a sort of piece of entertainment for you to enjoy. So it really does help out if you do subscribe, follow, like, do all the, you know the things. We've been living in this world for quite some time. Do all the bits. I want to say a huge thank you again to our tech team. Honestly, we had a little bit of some jitters tonight, but without them, we would have just been gone. It would have been like, sorry, I have to end the stream early. So they've been working tirelessly behind the scenes, and we cannot thank them enough. We are back in 2 weeks' time. It's going to be February. That's exciting. We're making our way into 2021. Hopefully someday soon we'll be back in person, but not today. Until then, we will be here. Look after yourselves. Be sound. Good night, and joy be with you all.